Alrighty. Having to readjust my microphone, I discovered that all of the noise that the noise removal tools in Comasetta and Audacity couldn't remove from my recordings was actually my neighbor's house and their TV. And I had the microphone. Although I got the good blue microphone, I had it pointing in the wrong direction, so it was picking up through the brick walls of both of our houses, about 10 foot in between each of our houses. It was actually picking up their TV. And they watch the news programs all day. Okay, so I'm going to talk about mirroring here for just a second, before we get to the tutorial. I am going to create a basic shape here. Not going to do my normal fill thing with it. I'm going to leave the strokes on so we can see this. All right, this is our starting vertex. And there is no way to really mirror in Inkscape in most vector programs. I think Adobe has something, but when most people think of mirroring, they think of Krita, whatever. And right now, if I grab these two and I do a Control Plus, it automatically closes these off. And now I want to go to node selection. I want to break those. So I come up here, I select all the nodes, and bam, it gets rid of the line. Now, if I try to say this, it actually works. And I do that, it actually works. But sometimes when you're doing this, I cannot think of a good shape as an example. As soon as you do the Control Plus, it will actually draw a line from the first point to the last point. And in those cases, you need to come up here and reverse your duplicate. Now I do the Control Plus, and that will actually make the line that it creates in between the two paths to be corrected. It would actually do a line this way or this way. It's such a rare occurrence that it was kind of hard to get an example of it. But that is my join button, so now it's turning this into a single path. If you notice, though, I cannot actually join these two because this is a single path. Just wanted to throw that out there. That's the button you want to do. You could also beforehand take those 2 points. Take these 2 points. Come on. Oh, that was what I was asking for, but it's going to snap it to one side or the other. Now there are 2 points on top of each other. And if you do, okay, it worked. Sometimes it won't work and it will leave 2 points there. But basically the way you know that there's still 2 points there is that you cannot really see them until you get right on top of them and you highlight them. So you're kind of doing like that. You can't see the actual highlight until you actually do the join. And that would actually create a single point. The problem with this, of course, is this isn't really true mirroring. If it was, it wouldn't move the points back and forth. But it's just a helpful thing to help you out. Alright, let's get on to the eye tutorial. Alrighty, setting up our document, changing it over to pixel. Because centimeter and inches still doesn't make any sense. I'm going to start off with the oval. This is a cartoony eye. Going to offset it just a little bit on each side. I don't really want to rotate it. It's going to be kind of ridiculously blue, light blue. Of course, I got rid of my stroke. Duplicated it, moved it in. I'm going to do just that little bit of gradient around it. Then I duplicated my second layer, selected the bottom layer, Control minus. Want that outer edge to be darker. Start working on the pupil. Control Shift C turned it into a path. Now on cartoon eyes, the pupil will be offset. The pupil will move as if it was the iris. And I guess you have to watch cartoons a little bit too much to really notice it. So our pupil will not be centered. There's really no way for this eye to honestly move. It's a cartoon. So the pupil will do most of the movement and take colors with it. In this style of eye, which is probably going to be on an animal, of course the animal will have 2 legs and be semi-human, but it will there's the actual pupil itself. If we're going really retro, of course the character would positively be wearing gloves. That's just so they didn't have to draw the fingers over and over again. Gloves are easier to draw. And if you're looking for more realism in this kind of character, it's probably not a good character for you to focus on. Very Tex Avery or Walt Disney. Kind of trying to do a highlight around it. Getting kind of annoyed at the same time. Let's go ahead and do a radial gradient and let it do the work for us. I want to bump around the edge, right through the center actually. I don't want to go too sharp with it. So I do want the colors a little bit different. If they're exactly the same and then they're in the center like that, it'll make a very sharp metal-like edge. Once again, the pupil's really not going to be totally centered. We'll do a highlight. Our highlight, we're going to make it a little bit blue like everything else. It's very possible that the only color other than black and white on this character like this, and I would see this character kind of being dog-like, but the only other colors would be black and white for the entire dog, for the entire character. Only his eyes would actually have color. A lot of characters like Foghorn, Leghorn were drawn because they were simple. And they only had a certain part of them that stood out. And if you look at Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny got complicated, and Mickey Mouse got complicated. But in the beginning, what really became popular at the first was in the black and white days. Shades of gray. all that kind of stuff. Tex Avery and Walt Disney. Apparently Walt Disney hated Tex Avery. And Chuck Jones. So he's almost beginning to do a hypno thing on us. I think I like it. Alrighty. If you got something out of this, do subscribe, like. There are some more tutorials coming along, 2 more on the eyes, and then I will be jumping into the mouth and the head shape. This is all for the C#.NET MVVM tutorial. We're making a library to store all this stuff so we don't have 1,000 files on our computer. We can just store it out, deal them out whenever we want, cast them out to SVG. So all glory be to God, and I will see you in the next video.